Welcome, welcome, welcome to my lovely IHP community and the 5D collective. To those who love to love and love to live and love to laugh and learn and expand consciousness and definitely not cast stones. So, when you choose to live and love by being yourself with flaws and integrity, it means that you want to be able to be true to who you are as you listen to your inner child from your prefrontal cortex, as your higher self adult, not the adaptive child, teenager, no, who has projection. You also want to be able to live and love deeply as an adult who witnesses, processes, and lets go of mental concepts and emotional charges and any triggers that take place. That's why we're self empowered. It's also why we mindfully live in love, and the 5D mystic here spiritually live in love. Jesus, Holy Spirit, God, Akash, Source, Universe. So all of us know very well how it works to be in the present moment with ourselves and to not use triggers or charges, but to be in our social engagement system, to also be present with past childhood memories, sensations, images, or even life events by having bilateral and vertical integration. So people who choose to be their self, they have healed with a good therapist, their inner child first, obviously, and now they're doing more of the embodiment of restorative by choice. And that's why it's not all people who want to do this mindfulness living and loving or mindset and or empowering themselves in a life partner type and or true friendship type. Because see, to me, well, true anything is when you're the authentic self of you, which is going to happen when you're able to be basically here, yes, not only again bilateral but also vertical integration. No more self-doubt. You have the love emotion guiding you, not any of the other ones, because it's easy to be in a state of love when you have no more shame, no brokenness, no self-doubt, no distorted negative self-thinking or of others. Okay, so you don't have any of this inner outer conflict that is, oh my god, I want revenge on someone, or I have some human being causing tragedy. We are at peace with having flaws and imperfections, and that's what you will want to have as well. So again, we're talking about mindfully living, loving, from the 5D mystic here to the collective that we're building to why you would be a deeply emotional, available, and smart and empowered lover and person. So you're not empowered if you don't know how to be at peace with having flaws and imperfections in other people's eyes and their hearts. That one particularly. So these can lead to you being rejected and abandoned. Now, the people who don't have the, again, state of social engagement, the safety state online, the non-reactive, they will tend to go to therapy and talk to us about their post-traumatic growth. We talk about how we have been able to consistently choose to be in our prefrontal cortex because we are at peace with being rejected and abandoned. I was 4 the first time because I got taught it's okay to be different, and I got taught it's okay to cry, and I know how to be Maria's internally securely attached 1-year-old and 3-year-old. So this is what it means to have all my inner child parts sleeping and I'm being myself. And I don't have a flag without a flag post. It's also why I'm an empowered embodied feminine. So the empowered embodied feminine doesn't lose herself because our third eye works really great. We also don't lose our heart because our higher heart is always active. We drop our shields. I was an adolescent when I was like, yeah, why would I close my heart? You don't know how to love and be kind. I do. Also, the heart is healed because it doesn't break. It's a muscle. And Jesus also taught me about forgiveness. And so does Stephen Porges, because biologically rude people, they really don't know. They lack complete self-awareness. They're in their 3-year-old brainstem. Or the 3-year-old is what I call the brainstem is what they're in, and really I could use they're in their threat and or life threat biological root response that they learned how to do at home. So we have heart chakra opening up, unlocking generosity. So right now we have some amazing energies for the 5D collective. We'll have some of that maybe after if I still have some sunlight or some daylight. So again, you'll want to be able to be non-reactive in your state of safety, social engagement, nervous system response while being in situations where you are getting rejected or crapped on or whatever the fuck's going on. You're just saying, hey, I don't know what, no, you're like, this is me. I can leave if you want. As a funny stories that I've shared with you all, am I not decent enough to be saluted? Those are funny because it's not something like, oh my God, they're so hot. No, I have a funny story. Oh, you also want to completely lead your relationships with healthy self-worth. No shame, no blame, No fault, no revenge, no envy of, oh, you're going to get your karma back. That doesn't even come out of your mouth if you're an empowered inner child adult. You're like, oh my gosh, this is so sad. I just wanted a hug and to make up, but it's okay. So you leave it alone also once you find out envy is jealousy, and jealousy and spite, they're low self-esteem. You feel bad, and then you learn from, again, determined with Robert Sapolsky, they don't have free will. They have insecurities, doubts, and fear. We don't, so we get to be our true self with flaws and imperfections and integrity and stand up like an inner child does and say, well, I understand what you're speaking to me. I've had many bountiful women and men to present to me equations, one of which, you can't be friends with her. I just understood what you said. No, that's not going to happen. But I do understand how important it is. So what can happen is this: I accept with all honor and thank you for your time that you don't want to be friends with me. But my mother doesn't tell me who to be friends with. So you're not really going to... And I love you to death. You know this. But I also find this request completely... for me, but I get it. For you, it's important. I love you, so I'm going to be, if you want to not be friends anymore, I can respect your choice, because I really do. People who think you're lying, you have had some shit go down in your life, and I feel bad for you, but I won't tell you that in your face, because the minute you tell me I'm lying is the minute that I do know you had some shit go on and you don't believe in kindness, and actually you're the very person that Dr. Daniel Fox has presented me, as well as Peter Levine. Any human being who doubts kindness in and of itself, wow, I'm so sorry. And I won't be getting near you because you just actively let me know that you don't believe in love, which means you're not going to believe in kindness. You're not even going to believe in me. And actively, you just showed me what you do when you meet the state of safety, which is your cue is not, oh, how beautiful, you're a beautiful, happy human being. I love that you're that. Or kind. No, it's, you're not real. So reactivity is something that is a key flag for those of us who have healthy self-worth. Let me let you all know. And kindness and compassion. I don't do anything. It's been a while since I've had even any of this, but whenever I do, I kind of just don't, do much about it. We're not going to be friends, obviously. Again, you don't trust a person. So you stay with your own empoweredness, and you leave alone the ones who are petty, by the way, there are sometimes people who pettily stick around. I feel bad. But again, they learn to either become empowered or they leave eventually because they're really wanting to have a different type of company. So like the squirrel from Cusco land or Cusco. So we live life. We want to live life and relationships with awe and splendor. It's really beautiful to be that with your restorative embodiment. You are imbued by that which is grace and the infinite sphere of God, Holy Spirit, love. So all the words that those of us in spirituality will use as we get to embody more heaven in the body, if you will, it is our restorative embodiment. And the good therapists have informed that it's our birthright, and all bodies are seeking to return home to their origins because there's a remembrance. That's why when I'm with someone, if they are reactive towards me, I just know they don't like a social engagement nervous system. And so that's an indication that they have dysregulation, not the other way around, and I don't have to be reactive because they don't represent a physical threat to me. So my body is smart, and my mind and brain are mine, and myself is mine, and I'm secure and I'm smart that I'm okay with being flawed and perfect and unconditionally loving and kind. They don't have to think it's kindness. I like to be Maria, and so I'm going to continue being Maria. And there's your compassion. So you want to embody unconditional love, and your brothers and sisters and all people don't change that, because again, whether it's with God or determined, you do have free will to consciously choose to behave in your social engagement system, non-reactivity. And I'm a mindfulness and more mentor, podcast host, content creator. So I'm telling you how to be yourself. I'm sharing with you how I'm able to be myself, and then how you can also make the same choice or say, I want that, my life now, which is what some people do. They don't want personal development, or it's pseudoscience bullshit self-help crap. It is pseudoscience, just not bullshit. It is self-help, just not crap. For the people who want to do like the little choo-choo train, over the hump we go, and there we close our prefrontal. Yay, we're not using our amygdala and reactivity anymore. No more threat response. Hurrah! And there's another year and then you keep going, Zen Master, and eventually you won't have laundry anymore, and you will finally be a representation of the title you chose to give yourself. And I don't know when that happened, but the fact that you don't notice Master of Zen means that you would know how to handle all depth of emotional stuff, but you don't. So we, on the other hand, love to again, learn how to be able to be in a mental and emotional state of equanimity and neutrality and duality, which is what I just presented. But my words don't matter as much as what I feel in here. No, it's not wine, it's bliss. It's pure bliss. So, with that, you want to also be able to consistently expand consciousness. And in doing so, you expand being yourself from the heart, the mind, and the body and self. They're all in alignment because you're self empowered and equanimous thanks to being the socially engaged, restorative embodiment, self aware, accountable, regulating person who you lead with compassion when you're being yourself with flaws and integrity, and you're mindfully and spiritually aware. So you are able to acknowledge that rejection happens and that sometimes differences and different people, they don't come together. We love to love, and we love to love because we're internally securely attached. We love to also laugh because we again have a funny bone all over the place because our prefrontal's working and we know how to use neutrality and duality, and we know that life is precious. So in the now, we know how to process what comes up. Oh, don't go back down because we're alive. So we love to live in aliveness, not pseudo aliveness, which is what the other people who don't know how to process heartbreak and gut wrench stuff, and we know how to process, but we don't have gut wrench anymore. We know how to process whatever. It's like, oh wait, okay, I'm going to start doing the things that help me to self-soothe and get in my social engagement. I'm getting anxious. I think I have a presentation. We know how to do eustress because aliveness is this. The pseudo-alive people, again, they I have seen them on screen as they are in threat and life threat and out of body. Watching it is not fun because they also are therapists, some of them, and I think, wow, you want to know yourself and get all the way healed before you actively offer me anything. Because if I say one word, the same way one person said a word to me and shit came up, but I know how to self-regulate and I don't go offline and I know how to say, okay, hold on, Maria, it's not the time. You don't know how to do that. And I, on the other hand, am supposed to be paying you millions and billions of bucks. And in the meantime, I have to be aware that you don't have all your alters and you in a whole brain yet and a whole mind and a whole self. So I'm going to say between the mantles of mental health and the spiritual bypassers, there's a bunch of professionals who really could use therapy, but they're all over the place saying no, or they're basically, you know what I'm talking about. So we leave it alone though, because every voice has a bunch of people that flock around, and we continue to try and share. We won't cast a stone. We will love to love and live and laugh and learn with the people and the mystics who are healthy self-worth. They have integrity. They have flaws. They enjoy differences. They don't cast stones or characterological distinctions or judgments on anything or anyone because they have what is called a smart brain. Okay, so when you choose to live in love by being, again, yourself, mindfully and spiritually with healthy self-worth, and you're open to enlightening, it means you're smart because you're stable, mature, adaptive, rational, and teachable. It also means that you have guts and integrity. You have guts because you healed your inner child if you needed it, but also you have guts because you are able to stand in your ventral vagal and not in your visceral. So you have the balls to be able to be polite while somebody else is being unpolite. I'm going to say that has a lot of honor because integrity does. And Jesus and God taught us how to be humble. And the smart therapists also teach us how to be humble. And the ones who are the most compassionate, they're the ones who say, yes, forgive. Because nobody chose transgenerational cultural trauma. Not parents, not children, not our ancestors, none of us. Okay, so that's where we stand as a 5D collective of mystics and mindfully living and loving people. And so you are also, again, knowing love in here. And so you know how to love out there. You know how to love someone for real and not pretend. That's because you also know how to love and live and what real life is all about. And that we're mortal. And so you don't lose yourself or your heart with life's unknowns, unexpecteds, and the unwanteds. To the contrary, thanks to mindfulness practices, mindsight and mindset, and that inner growth and that open heart, you get to keep going with the flow and you keep an open heart. And the pursuit of inner growth that you have is obviously personal to being your true self. And so you grow more bliss and more flow and you expand your human consciousness in this way. So once again, day-to-day life practices, they support you in those relationships as a functional inner child adult who is using your higher self. So you have self-awareness and perception. You do not have distortions because you have no more insecurities, and that adaptive child is not leading the way. When you're dealing with life and people, you experience emotional depth thanks to having the capacity to self-attune, self-regulate to your state, the social engagement state of safety by choice, again, so you want to be in the funny stories like, am I not decent enough to be saluted? So that's why the benefits are only going to be something you have a good time with because you love unconditional love. And you love people. It's like, why would I be rude to a poor human being who doesn't know anything? And really, it's not in your instincts once you have this just beautiful way of being. I mean, for me, I've only known an eternal child, so I don't know how it is to want to be envious, jealous, spiteful, or mean. I don't. I know what it can mean to be sad and mad and know that somebody is completely treating you in ways that's not even, no, but that I have the scientists to explain they're offline. I'm not going to hold somebody who doesn't know, forgive for they do not know, accountable. Lacking self-awareness is your unkind trauma stuff and you can go get it healed. I'm not your therapist. So we are not choosing reactivity on purpose. We're choosing non-reactivity on purpose so that I can engage as an empowered, compassionate person. You don't have to consider me compassionate, but I am going to be in an integrated brain and I access my mental clarity because I'm in a higher mental, emotional, and physical intelligent state due to integration of the brain, due to me not scanning myself or you, so my default mode network is down regulated because in contemplative and interactive moments, I'm Maria. That's being yourself, and that's why it's once you have chosen to be yourself and that you have chosen to be a healthy self-worth person who's a functional inner child adult, that you'll know owning the sense of self, the core narrative relational solo, you'll be self-empowered, you'll be choosing self-regulation on purpose to a state of safety and non-reactivity because you enjoy your social engagement nervous system pattern of behavior and behaviors and mannerisms when dealing with all people and life. Why not? The dysregulated nervous system is really not comfortable, and any person who gets a good therapist will notice the difference, and they will notice that they have been lacking self-awareness, emotional depth, that they will have been lacking mental clarity because they will have been lacking being their true self, because they will have had a paused, distorted self that only knows how to not regulate or attune to their safety social engagement system, but that knows how to instinctively do what their childhood trauma stuff got to do. So dysregulation. So again, if you're actively going to good therapy, you're going to find the benefits and you're going to notice, wow, I'm now able to live what is a true relationship from my heart, and I like it, and I like to live a good relationship in my body and my mind. And so when you see authentic healing, you see people like Kylie who don't talk about their therapy or their situation. She has narcissism and she's healed from borderline as if she got some cross to bear. She is very honorable in how she shares her journey, and her sociopath boyfriend get hate mail by ignorant human beings who I have nothing to say because they have no guts. They just have stories from ancient times. They're ignorant, and they're the same people who will say, oh, neuroscientists, something to believe in. It's not true that they are truly telling us the truth about there being no demons. There's no demons. There's a brain, and it's an embodied brain. And as a mystic, I can tell you all about the lower planes and how people that are leveling up are doing great. And the ones who don't choose to heal themselves, well, again, Cusco's, there's bountiful as well as squirrels, and they're not the ones who are going to be emotionally deep, available, smart, and empowered people, lovers, or human beings in this lifetime. And we will have future lifetimes because I'm in the future. But even if there weren't, you have a life right now. So being self-aware, and whether you're a mystic or person, welcome aboard. Self-empowered people, we love to love, we love to live, we love to laugh and learn, expand, and not cast stones. And we'll be back with something more in a little bit. In the meantime, have a good day. Thanks for tuning in.